Hello, my name is Hannah Kim from Bellevue, Washington. House Bill 1550 sets out to improve end-of-life management of electric vehicle batteries. As someone who comes from a family that uses electric vehicles like millions of others, I am interested in what the state legislature is doing about this issue. If this bill makes it to the Senate floor, would you support this legislation, or are there amendments that you would suggest to improve it? Thank you.
Well, I definitely support recycling of electric vehicle batteries. I think that's really important, especially as we look at the impacts of mining and the fact that if we want to electrify transportation, we're going to need a whole lot more lithium and a whole lot more batteries. And the more that we can recycle what we already have, that's great. One thing that I'd like to just make really clear is that when people do a life cycle analysis of an internal combustion or a gas-powered vehicle versus an electric vehicle, even if you don't recycle the batteries, the electric car is still better for the environment. It's just very, very clear. The Inflation Reduction Act has a lot of really important policy as well that creates incentives for recycling electric vehicle batteries, and I think that's really exciting.
Hi, Hannah. Thanks for that question, because a lot of people are concerned about the next generation of vehicles, not only in our private vehicles that you see on a day-to-day basis, and maybe your family has one, but also in our trucking industry, our schools, or even in our roadways where we can electrify the system that we need to have. Some of the concerns we have with not only this bill, but the transport of where the batteries are going is how do we test them? So my amendments would be to increase or improve that bill to ensure that we can test and certify where the batteries are coming from. And then like we do with other generation of power, where are we going to store those? And we call that the life cycle. So the time it's generated to create the battery to the time it goes into the vehicle to make sure we can reduce the fire, the impacts if you do have an auto accident with this battery, what firefighters can do to get into and respond to saving us, to keep people alive, the safety of the individuals to the operators on our roadways, and then also at the end of life cycle when you sell the vehicle, where that battery goes, or if you need to replace it. It doesn't go into our landfills. It makes it into a place where we can store it properly, and then we can dispose of it the right way as we recycle or look to recycling some of these components into newer battery technology in the future. And I would add, it's a great opportunity to showcase we have in our state one of the world's largest and emerging technologies of the Pacific Northwest National Labs that is actually host to a battery storage system that is creating some of the nice spaces of the next generation of batteries that are in our phones, are in our laptops, and even the computers that we see today, that when we're storing these batteries, they're protecting, so they're testing, they're certifying the next generation of what materials, the minerals that we're going to be using in these systems, and some of the chemistry and the physics that I would recommend to students like you and others, if you're highly encouraged, that you may be inspired to go into to help us solve some of the future problems. But thanks for that question.